to come to Australia. The benefit of doing Masters in Public Health or any other postgrad, which comes in your budget, is it gives you that time frame to come and live in Australia. Learn their ways, work as a DA, earn the money here, learn the language, be comfortable living here and how the things work. If someone comes and do the exam, go back, come for the practical, even if they pass the exam, it takes them a lot of time to settle themselves in Australia. Language barrier and other things. When you are already living in Australia for the past 3-4 years and do the ADC exam, you're a lot more comfortable and confident living here with the language and the other barriers that people face. So MPH is basically Masters in Public Health, giving you that opportunity to live here in Australia while working, while earning money and doing that course. That's number one benefit, that what I see. Now, a lot of people say is, does that help you with the ADC life, with the dentistry life? Ideally, no. Public health is good if you really want to work in the public health sector, health promotion sector, environmental health, something like that. It's good if you want to do research later in life. Maybe you want to pursue an MPhil and PhD or something. It's really helpful for that, but no directly linked to your dental. So if someone has done MPH and they haven't done MPH, it doesn't make any difference to their profile getting a job in ADC. Yes, it might give you an edge if you're sitting in an interview, maybe in the US NDBE, because the Integrated National Board Exam, because they have interviews, right? That you have done MPH, it's a bit of maybe a plus that, your profile is a bit better. But in Australia, you don't have interviews, right? You just pass the exam, you get a job. You don't have that, you do DDS and stuff. You have to pass the exams. So in our case in Australia, in my opinion, when you look at the career point of view, linked to dentistry, not very helpful. Yes, it gives you a bit of learning. You work in the Australian system, you learn and, get you going with learning about research and, studying here. Gives you a bit of a background, gives you a bit of a confidence, but not linked to dentistry. If you want to do other things like public health, environmental health, and if you work in that sector, yes, you can get a job, but not directly linked to dentistry. And again, that's my personal opinion about it. And she's also saying that, what are the benefits of doing public health? I think I've already discussed that. In my opinion, the two benefits. What are the job opportunities for Pakistani dentists in Australia? Same for any other dentist or any other person coming. You can work here, either as a DA or at a petrol station or in Coles or, variety of job offers available. But you coming from a Pakistan and being a dentist doesn't make a lot of difference. I think the only job that will suit you would be if you can try and work hard, would be a dental assistant. But because if someone says I'm a dentist from Pakistan or a dentist from India or a dentist from South Africa, do I come into a higher post or something? Not really. You don't get that edge over other people. So yeah, like odd jobs, there are a lot of odd jobs available. People work. I've worked a lot as well when I came at my time until I found a job being a dental assistant. So yeah, same job opportunities for everyone. Doesn't make you higher or lower or gives you edge coming from Pakistan being a dentist. No. But as I said, make a separate video on dental assistant. That would be more likely the way to go. Now, another question is from India and saying, for a fresh Indian graduate after clearing the ADC exam, how can a dentist in Australia sponsor him? Students have no dental experience in Australia. Usually, what basis do they do that? And sir, I'm not clear exactly. In my clinical experience, is it required other than internship? ADC website says there's no clinical experience. Now see, as I mentioned clearly that ADC have given a guideline saying, even if you have 20 years experience or have no experience, it's the same exam pattern for you. So even if you have no experience, no clinical training, you can sit in the exam, you can pass the exam, yes. However, when you pass the exam and you don't have a visa, which means you don't have a visa or reason to stay in Australia, you will be applying your visa on the basis of your ADC exam that you passed or the skill level. Now the problem arrives here. When you have no experience, it's okay to pass ADC, but when you'll be applying for jobs. Now until 2015, dentists were on the skilled occupation list. They were still, after that, two states they opened, and they opened and closed, like Queensland and Tasmania. They had dentists in the state occupation list as well, and there's a lot of immigration things. Might get confusing for you. They removed it from the skilled occupation list. Now the skilled occupation list decide that if Australia is requiring of these kind of workers, skilled workers, if Australia says I don't need this mindset or this skill set of workers, that means you're not going to get your permanent residency or a visa straight away. Now, don't need to get disheartened. You have other ways, which is a consolidated list, which is a regional list, in which you can go to a regional area, work there, get your visa, temporary and then a permanent one. Now, most of the visas that what I've seen gets very tricky when you apply for immigration purposes, because they say we don't not only need a dentist who has passed the ADC, but we also need a dentist who has at least 2 years experience. That's the immigration requirement. Now, just imagine you have passed ADC and you don't have any experience. What are you going to show for the immigration to apply for your visa purposes? That's the major problem. Why I tell everyone that make sure you do your house job and at least 2 years experience you have. Some visas now they're saying even 3 years experience minimum to apply for that visa. And at that point, you go to a lawyer and they say, you don't have the experience. What can I do? Your dental assistant experience not going to count. Dentist experience, because you're applying for a dentist job. Now what are you going to do? Do you want to pass ADC, go back to your country, practice 2 years there and then come back? That's why it's important to not rush. I feel in life, one thing you have to learn, and I've learned as well, that yes, we want to come and do it quickly, but quickly doesn't work most of the time. And it may put you in a position that you will regret later that I should have taken baby steps and then gone forward. So when you're coming overseas, ideally try to make sure you have at least 2 years of experience to show when you apply for your visas. Now, a lot of people, if they're coming on marriage visas, they spouse visas, and they already have visas, you don't have to worry. Because you already have visa, you just have to get a job and work as a dentist. But if you don't have a visa, then you are in a tricky situation. So you need to have at least 2 or 3 years experience to apply for immigration purposes as well. It's not like you're not a dentist, but to live here, the visa things doesn't allow. I'm not sure if it's clear for you all. I hope it's clear. So if you already have a visa thing sorted, no problem. But if you don't have it, then having that experience really helps for you to apply. And that's why it's in a tricky situation for you to do. So if someone says, and asks me that you have no experience, can I still do the ADC exam? Yes, you can do the ADC exam. There's nothing wrong with it. But you can't apply for the immigration. Second thing is that working there as 2 years as a dentist gives you a lot of comfort as well. Nobody's going to teach you here. I've seen a lot of people, they pass ADC, now they're zero. They don't know anything, they learn. And then you learn, that's fine. But if you have done some work overseas doing this exam, you're a lot more comfortable when you start your journey being a dentist. That's my, again, personal opinion. Hope that's clear, right? The other thing is that this, again, the person from India, and they're saying, love your channel. Thanks for being an inspiration. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. I tried, and it was my dream project. I call it my dream project, to help maximum people out and share my knowledge. And I'm glad when I see all the views and all those comments and stuff coming on a regular basis. I do get humbled and really touched. but I really appreciate it. For that I'm be able to do it even for myself. I appreciated that. God has Allah has given me the opportunity to help. So I'm really glad it's helping people, to be honest. So that's all good. Thank you for your feedback. What was the reason? He's saying, what was the reason you chose a master's course? Because the reason is I didn't have the marriage proposal things and all the visa thing. I didn't want to go in that line. I wanted to stay with my dental line. I didn't want to get myself, involved with other stuff. I wanted some time to live in Australia to work my way as a dentistry. So I chose public health because the most affordable ones, apart from the other ones, I chose a course in Perth. It was a $40,000 course, and it was a 2.5 years, 3 years course. And then what I decided was, if I do that, I have that time to live in Australia, work my way through, find a job, and establish myself. And that was my reason of doing public health. And that's, again, I needed that time. I thought maybe not a wise option to study in Pakistan, then come here, because that settlement thing is very difficult. And I felt it in myself that, living in Australia, got an opportunity working as a dental assistant, clinical coordinator, practice manager, managing clinics, working with so many dentists have really made me a different person. They've made me a very better dentist. I wouldn't have been a really good dentist if I was just relying on my clinical skills. I've learned so many other things like communication and managing and other stuff, which is again very important to be a good clinician. And I feel they go hand in hand. So I feel like my reason of doing public health was also I needed that time, and that's what I did it. So that's the two reasons you have, as I've discussed previously. So mine was the time. I needed that time to come here and stay. And then he's asking me about part 1 books. Again, I don't teach part 1, but I can make a separate video on ADC part 1. And then, I can give you a bit of a list about the books to follow. I personally feel part 2 is really difficult. You need a proper mentor. Part 1 you can pass by yourself as well. You don't really need a teaching. There's so many books available now. As a rule of thumb, I would say Boucher's is your main goal. Boucher's, you have to study Boucher's, even if someone tells you don't. For part 1, you need Boucher's, you need Odell's, both the MCQs and the normal. Now, a lot of people might not know this, but there are 2 Odell's. One is the MCQ comprehensive version, which gives you the question and answer, and the other one is the book about all the cases. You need both of them, both hand to hand. Third one is your therapeutic guidelines. Should be like every word to word should be in there. You have to study it so much. These are the basic books you get going with. Apart from that, there's so many books. There's a list I can always share and make a video in part 1 as well. But yeah. Now there's another one who did, again, I think she's from Turkey. So she's saying that, is there any other way to get PR in Australia in the field of dentistry only, other than ADC? Doing masters in dental subjects or in hygiene course, or then work. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I'm aware, that dental hygiene is in the list. If not in the skill list, it's in the consolidated list. So if you don't want to do dentistry, don't know the ADC, you can do the 3 years hygienist course or a 2 years dental therapist course. And these 2 are in the list. They were till last year. I'm not sure if they've changed it. But doing these programs, you can work as in the dental field, and you can possibly get your visas and stuff sorted as well. You don't have to do the ADC. I'll make another video possibly just to explain you about, if you don't want to do the ADC and still want to remain in the dental industry, what are the options? Options are again the same, like dental assistant, practice manager. Now in some regional areas, practice managers can get sponsored as well, and you can get your visas. But again, you need to have some quality of dental assistant and clinical coordinator and practice manager managing something, so they be able to choose you, being a practice manager for their clinic, and you're good enough to run a 1 or 2 or 3 practices, and they can sponsor you. There is a way. Other are with dental assistant, you can't. I think regionally in Darwin, they opened even dental assistants to be sponsored as well. So again, that's an immigration thing. After that, you have dental hygiene is always there. Then you have dental technician courses, 2 years, I think, there and there as well. So there again, you're not directly linked doing, but at the same time with hygiene and stuff, you can do the, cleans and stuff, and again, stay in the dental industry and get. So there are options, but we'll have to look into it a bit more in detail. So this person is asking me, what is the scope of earning? I think I've explained this question in my last video about the 10 frequently asked questions. Earning potential depends on your experience, about your visa conditions. Now, if you're not an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, they will give you a very low pay until you're a resident. And this is a hard reality. The pay scale starts from somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000 annual, I'm talking. And they give you super on top of it. Some don't, depends what package you're on, which clinic you're working on. But generally what I've seen, 100,000 package they'll give you, and you're stuck with them for 2-3 years or 5 years, depends on your visa condition. If you are a permanent resident and you have good skills, depends on your skill level, you can go from 100,000 to 400, 500,000. Depends. Now, earning potential depends on what sort of dental work you do. If you do general dentistry like fillings and cleans only, if you do some crowns and veneer and cosmetic work, do you do some Botox? Do you do a lot of implants in your practice? Do you do a lot of cosmetic dentistry? Do you mix things up and do full arch cases like all on fours? Do you treat snoring appliances and TMJ as well? So it depends on the scope of your practice, and that's how you earn more. So earning perspective are related to your visa conditions and your experience and the work you do. And they join together. You can go from 100,000 to 500,000, even more. But again, depends directly correlated to that. Again, she's saying that she loves my content. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I've been following you since a long time. Your knowledge is extremely helpful, but obviously want some light on the part 1. So she's also asking about the part 1 about the MCQs. As I said, I don't teach part 1, but I'm happy to make a video on part 1, so you guys be able to understand. As I said, I feel the clinical is very technical and needs more help, so that's why I strictly focus on that. But I'm happy to make a video. Again, the next person is also upon how did you, if you can answer, because we really get motivated from you, how did you manage your university, work, part-time job, and then doing the ADC at the same time? To be honest, it was very difficult. Maybe I can do a video on about my journey, which a lot of people feel it's not easy. Trust me. It was one of the most difficult days of my life, but I had to do it. I had that passion in my mind and never giving up attitude. I was not able to give up that easily. So it was really hard. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I managed to. Allah blessed me. I think I've tried my best to work hard as much as I can. I was doing almost full-time work. You're not allowed to. I was doing almost part-time, full-time mix-up. Depends, when you have break, you can do a bit more. So staying in the legal law as well. I always say everyone that if you go to another country, try not to break the law. You have to follow the law. Stay in the limits. Don't be fancy and say, no, I'm not going to follow it. Long term, I've seen people have, lost a lot of stuff. They've jeopardized their future doing that. So don't do that. So I've worked almost part-time, full-time, depending on if they had a semester break between my masters. I was doing full-time study for my masters, and then I was doing full-time study for my ADC as well. It was really hard to juggle everything at the same time, but yeah, I did it, and I'm glad I did it. It worked out really well, but I'll share my journey maybe one day about the whole thing. This one is again from Pakistan. She's saying, I need motivation. While you have planned ADC and waiting things to be done, it takes 2 to 3 years or maybe 3 to 4 years at least for your journey. I've come across people who motivate you like whatever it takes to give the exam and settle there, but then stuck in my mind are some other people who couldn't make it. Even if they tried 6-7 years, they couldn't pass the ADC exam. And they feel it's a waste of time. What do you think about that? Again, it's hard for me to comment on certain people. I feel everybody has its own journey in life they follow, and everybody talks on their own experience. I feel like I talk on the basis of my experience in life. But I feel that if you try really hard and don't give up, it may take you longer than maybe another person. They might pass in the first attempt, you might pass in the 5th attempt, but you will. So it's again, like, it's really hard for me to comment on, why some people didn't. But I feel like if you keep going, you do make it. And a lot of people who pass the exam, actually, I would say most of them, they don't regret about it. They're really happy that they never gave up because they did make it. I know people who have passed their part 1 and they failed their part 2 5 times, and the part 2 expired. They gave the part 1 again. The part 2 expired again, and they gave the part 1 3rd time and they passed it in the second. So they've given like 10, 11 attempts. Took them 8, 9, 10 years, but they did make it. So again, it's your resilience at the end of the day and your confidence level and what you want in life, not what other people are telling you. At the end of that, it's your life, it's your journey, it's your motivation, it's your self-belief. And you have to ask your question to yourself, what do you want in life? And you'll already get your answer. You don't need to listen to people. What do you want? Do you want ADC? Then ADC is your goal. If you don't want ADC, then ADC is not your goal. Simple as that. She's also asking me if you can answer some questions like, how do you manage your dental job and DA job? Again, you get used to it. There's something called as adaptability. You get used to it. Once you keep doing it and, keep yourself on it, it's the body that adapts, and we human beings are designed that way, beautifully designed by Allah, that, we can do all that. Beautifully designed. So I hope that answers the question. I will be doing this kind of videos every 2 months or so and ask about the ADC questions. So I will be posting a video on the DA. I'll be posting a video about your part 1 thing as you requested. I'll be posting a video about if you want to stay in the dental industry but not doing the ADC exam, what are the ways you can? 3 videos. And then if you have more questions, you can send me a DM on my Instagram or on my Facebook page, which is ADC Help with Dr. Mak. And my Instagram is Dr. Mak, same as my other Facebook, which is my professional page. And we'll sort that comments out, and then we'll make a video maybe another 2 months to answer your queries. Hope this video be helpful for all of you and I've answered some of your queries. And I'll see you all in the next video. God bless you all.